We are live. It is the 16th of March, 2023. Wow. Some of you have been with me for many, many years. Can you believe? Can you believe? Can you believe what we are living? You should, because for years, so many of us have been screaming about what we will be living, and should we do nothing about it, well, it's going to be painful. So here we are. Justin Wynn, Pizza Guy, step down, hi. And I got your email, years and years. What a show. I can't play it because I'll get a copyright strike. But wow, it's a British show, I think 2019, bank runs. And there was a very poignant scene that I posted on Twitter. This older woman who's sitting around the table with her children and grandchildren, and she's talking about, oh, it's our fault, it's your fault. We want to blame America. We want to blame the economy. We want to blame, then she mentions some British person, I don't know who it is. We want to blame Parliament. We want to blame everybody. But we let it all happen. And then she raises her wine glass, says, "Good job. Cheers." Thanks, Step Down, for that. Terry Miller, Extraordinary Times, Cecilia Amarati, hello, and Sherry, thank you. Marty is not going to be able to make it tonight, so Sherry, you're on your own. I hope it's not a hard job, but thank you very much for your selfless service. Cindy Reinhardt Taylor, Random Taylor News, hey, Willow, hello, Eli D, hi, Stardust Free Net, Tim Shoemaker, Sith Trish, The Hypocrite's Matrix, hi guys, Mark Williams, Conspiracy Realist Mom, A Touch of Class, ML, Oracle 11, Lynn Boehm, hi guys, Rick Yorkin, Piece of Cake, thank you very much, Sherry. I'm going to start in about 1 minute. Oh good, we already have a very good adult child in the room. Random Taylor News says, we will behave, Sherry. Oh, no, wait. Maybe that's actually an adult. Nice. TFL at War, hello. Mini Patriot Angel, hello. And Silent Walk. Hi, guys. Charity A. Hi. So things are moving along. Things are moving along quite nicely and swiftly. And soon, many of you here are going to feel the pain of what we've been talking about for years and years. Erica Gardens, hello. Linty London. You did? I didn't. Oh, I'm on Top Chat. Top Chat. Sorry. Live chat. All right, Linty, I didn't see it because I was on Top Chat. Sorry. Killer Drums. Okay, it'll change in a minute. Heterodox, hello. You cannot, don't even, you look, people click the bell for notifications. Forget about it. Notifications, very unreliable. Cyber communication is unreliable. We can't count on getting what we click for. Beatrix Kiddo. Hi. All right, so we're going to start with train derailments. How about that? Now, there was another train derailment in Arizona, and people were saying that it was carrying hazardous materials. It wasn't. It was carrying corn syrup. But yeah, another train derailment. And residents near Ohio train derailment find it nearly impossible to sell their home. What a surprise. Patrick and Ruth Souders spent much of their savings, $100,000, on their dream home 6 years ago, and they're proud of showing off their work that they did, the upstairs and downstairs bathroom remodeling, the laundry room, the new floor. Oh, and guess what? Now they're sitting in a toxic environment. Their child can ride horses there. It's a massive barn. Oh, boy. Well, yeah. All right, well. So, realtor. Holly Ritchie is a realtor. 3 homes that were supposed to close within the last 2 weeks, or within the 2 weeks after the derailment, they backed out. Train company is in the process of cleaning up the area and says the work may cause alarming odors and will last 1 or 2 more months. It's offered to pay the residents to live elsewhere while the work continues. Well, from what I have been hearing, their offers don't amount to much at all. But hey, that's to be expected, right? It is to be expected. All right, so California is getting hit so flippin' hard. Farm country. Farm country. Isn't it great? No, it's not. It's really pretty outrageous. These farms, with this kind of flooding, they're not going to be able to just plant once the water goes away. They're pretty much gone for 1 or 2 years afterwards because of all of the silt. Now think about all of the food that California provides for all of us. All that produce, all those nuts and berries, and gone.
Out of California, where tens of thousands are under evacuation orders due to the risk of major flooding. The latest weather system has moved on, but water levels remain dangerously high in much of the state. Right now, homes like this one in San Clemente, south of Los Angeles, are teetering on the edge of saturated cliffsides. Carter Evans is south of Santa Cruz, where some people are still waiting to be allowed back into their homes. Carter, good morning.
Good morning, Vlad. This extreme weather clearly has a local impact with all of this flooding, but it could be a national problem. You see, California grows about 3/4 of the country's fruits and nuts. And for example, this is a strawberry farm, and now it's underwater. The crop is ruined, but the soil could also be contaminated, possibly delaying replanting for months.
California farmers appear to be getting desperate, sacrificing pickup trucks in an effort to fill a broken levee.
Stop right there, baby. Stop right there.
Yes.
Yep.
Right there, yes.
Yep.
The farmer who posted this video says the men were trying to prevent the Tule River in Central California from inundating an orchard. On Wednesday, Governor Gavin Newsom surveyed damage in the farming town of Pajaro, the result of a break in a levee that's been neglected for decades.
This is a known problem. The money is there to fix it. When can people expect to see construction on the solution?
We have a 5 to 7 year timeline that has been pre-established, but based upon this experience, no one has patience for 5 to 7 years.
Across the state, almost 90,000 people are facing evacuation. Christopher Moreno left his home in the middle of the night with no shoes. What happened when you went to the shelter?
It was full.
It was full. No room.
No more space.
He's been living in his car for almost a week.
So this is everything you got now?
This is my home for now.
Now the local community is stepping in with clothes and supplies.
What do you want to say to the people who are in charge of all this?
Well, they had to do something fast. I can't imagine what they're going to do or how they're going to survive in here.
You know, all this has left many farm workers out of a job. Now, the governor says they are all immediately eligible for $600 relief checks. If there is any good news to come out,
$600? Wow. And San Francisco is considering giving reparations, $5 million each in reparations, $600. That's going to go far in California. Hey, but be grateful. Bow down to your leader. Ugh.
The storms that dumped record rain in California have left danger and destruction in their wake.
A very tense situation.
A dramatic helicopter rescue in Los Angeles. A man trapped in the LA River. Crews fighting the fast-moving water.
This is what happens when we see rain. We see this LA River just continue to swell.
The 51-year-old was rushed to the hospital to be treated for hypothermia.
The whole hill is just struggling right now.
Danger on land, too. The heavy rains triggering landslides. In San Clemente, at least 4 apartment buildings were evacuated after a landslide left them teetering on the edge of this cliff.
It's possible we've lost everything.
Mudslides in Nevada, too. This home badly damaged, but no one injured. One silver lining? All that rain is easing some drought concerns. Mandatory water restrictions are now being lifted for nearly 7 million people in Southern California. It wasn't just the rain.
Oh my God!
But wind causing this tree to come crashing down onto a church in the San Francisco Bay Area. Meanwhile, on the East Coast, millions are now digging out from that powerful nor'easter. In Massachusetts, 2 hikers stranded in more than 2 feet of snow were rescued at 2 a.m. after an hours-long search. And 2 teenage skiers also rescued after spending 3 hours in chest-deep snow. In the meantime, homeowners are now being warned to make sure their gas meters aren't buried in snow after this home explosion in South Dakota. One of 2 recent explosions in the state blamed on buried gas meters. The plains in the upper Midwest getting more snow today.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the...
God, I can't stand him. Oh, sorry for that. Sorry for that.
This ABC 15 News Update is sponsored by Sanderson Ford, America's best-selling Ford dealership.
Hello, I'm Justin Pizzera with your top stories from ABC 15 Arizona. People in several Sedona neighborhoods
Arizona.
Forced to leave their home because of elevated water levels in Oak Creek. Sedona Fire tells us that this is one of the main reasons people in 50 houses were told to go. ABC 15 talked with one man who is describing his drive to Flagstaff and back.
It was just rain, sleet. The water was just coming off of everything. The rocks, the trees. It was just, I was like going through a war zone almost. And the river's coming up quick. I'm in a big 4-wheel drive truck, and I was in 4-wheel drive, and if you tried to do any more than 25 or 30, you were all over the road. It's just sleet and snow and high winds.
The Red Cross has opened a shelter at Camp Verde Middle School. The severe weather turning dangerous for hikers near the Arizona-Utah borders. Floodwaters poured into the canyons in that area. Authorities say 2 men died while hiking the Lee's Ferry. Another man was rescued and is being treated for hypothermia. DPS also used a helicopter this week to rescue 11 people stuck in the frigid floodwaters. A shooting investigation.
And now on to shootings. Wow. A lot of people are really having a hard time. Seriously hard time. All right, here we go. Now I'm going to link below to this video that was sent to me by a subscriber. It's on Facebook, and oh, it's what is it about? We've got to stop the United Nations and the World Health Organization. The imminent takeover. Let's just listen to a few minutes.
That would change the entire nature of the WHO and the IHR. Currently, under Article 23 of the WHO Constitution, the WHO can make recommendations, right? Well, if you change the definition of what a recommendation is from being non-binding advice to being an obligatory order that you have to do as soon as possible, hey, wait a minute, the whole game just changed. And Rima, I haven't even had a chance to tell you this one, so this will be news to you. In Article 35 of the treaty, it says that everything in the treaty will apply to the entire World Health Organization, all member nations, as recommendations.
Means as absolute legally binding requirements. So this is the perfect example of jargonization. We're going to talk about recommendations.
Oh, nice.
Except we're going to talk about recommendations that we have defined as legally binding requirements with God knows what kind of sanctions for any country that does not agree to this. And I would like to point out, I'm sorry, Richard.
All right, just in line with what you're saying, another technique is they put the full concept of recommendations, and the recommendations are binding and they have to be as soon as possible. They put those in different locations. So you have to look at more than one sentence in order to understand the context.
Right, which is part of why James called this not English, but legalese.
Terms of art.
Because in terms of art, and lawyers are used to taking different pieces of a contract, for instance, and realizing that they're really Lego blocks that make the same structure. But ordinary people don't read like that, they don't talk like that, and they don't think like that. Right. So this is intended as deep deception. And I must say, from my experience working with the people who are the, shall we say, the diplomat class here, or the delegate class here,
right?
They are not the brightest bulbs in the box in general. They are not the deepest thinkers, and basically they don't care. They're doing a bureaucratically secure job in the mid-levels of management in their government, and they're just doing what they're told. So there are very few real guardians of the flock, shall we say, sitting at those tables. They're basically people who are just following orders, and your health and your life and your very existence depends on what the people representing these 194 nations in a desultory and excessively obedient fashion are doing.
Right.
James, you've been watching the proceedings that are made public, which is a very small percentage of the proceedings. Would you agree with what I'm saying in that?
Oh, they speak in a language that it's essentially, if you just keep repeating the phrases that are acceptable, then you're part of the crowd. Okay, and they have a whole litany of words. But let me turn this conversation on its head, and let me come to the defense of the WHO and the international health regulations. Okay, probably fewer than 0.00001% of people have actually read them. And if you read the current version, it's a paper tiger. It really doesn't have much that it mandates nations do. What it does mandate is that if a nation determines that there's some kind of an outbreak of a contagious, disease, or something like what happened in Ohio, where there could be a toxic plume that could go over the border into Canada. What they could have, should have, would have done in Ohio is they should have said, oh, hey, WHO, we have a public health emergency of international concern. There's a fire in Ohio and the plume might go to Canada. We need to let everybody know, right? Well, they didn't do that for some reason. I have my suspicions why. But the point is, they also want to change what the definition of an emergency is. Now, currently, there isn't really much of a definition. It's pretty much up to Tedros Ghebreyesus, the Director General. As people might know with monkeypox, the emergency committee advised against declaring it to be a public health emergency of international concern, but he did it anyways. So not much limitation, but they want to change it so that he could declare an emergency if there's something that has the potential to be an emergency. So talk about circular infinite loop of, word salad.
And add to that, potential to be an emergency, not an emergency. For instance, chikungunya, the disease du jour, the next one seems to be chikungunya. There have been 2 deaths in the United States total from chikungunya, and yet we're ramping up for chikungunya to be the new COVID. And what is incredibly important in the area that James is just referring to is that, let's say the United States were to say, hey, we don't have a chikungunya emergency. We don't have a chikungunya anything as it happens. Under the proposed amendments to the IHR, the Director General or any of the regional directors, 6 regional directors of the WHO could say, yeah, you do. Yeah, you have a chikungunya public health emergency of international concern or regional concern. And so we're going to bring down all of these regulations, requirements, quote, recommendations, which are in fact mandatory, and force you to do enough things to totally destroy your society because we said so.
And that's exactly right. So, are we sitting back waiting for that to happen? I guess so. All right, another video. The plan to get you to dissolve your government's global to local governance. And I've posted a lot of videos on this, going from government to governance, and it's already happening. It's not coming, it is already happening. That's why we see, well, how about those, I think it's over 500 mayors, U.S. mayors, that are implementing the Paris Climate Change Accord, and yet it was never up for ratification. We're not operating the way we used to operate just a little while ago. Now, there's local governance, and these mayors are implementing Agenda 2030 rapidly in a whole lot of states and a whole lot of cities. I've been trying to get that through to people. It's already happening. It's been happening for a long time. And, well, I can't stand when people say, it's coming. It's here.
All into a trap. And by all, I don't just mean the general population, but also those who consider themselves to be awake to the global agenda. As things worsen economically around the globe, people are waking up to just how badly our governments have screwed us all. And we are already starting to see peaks of this in other countries. As they reach a point of losing their livelihoods, people are getting angry, and rightfully so. Of course, our governments are to blame, but we also have to realize that our governments have been infiltrated by the globalists over the last few decades. So I'm not very confident that the people, the everyday people, will identify that fact as they awaken to the reality that their livelihoods are being stripped away. I feel that as the majority of the population begin to wake up, that they'll be waking up to an engineered perception, a deliberate perception that the solution is to eradicate the government, without the benefit of seeing that the real problem is actually the globalists who have infiltrated their government. Those of us who have been learning about the way things really work, about the real agenda behind all of the upheaval in the world that's orchestrated by the 0.1%, understand that they want global corporate governance, that they want complete control on a global level. I don't think any of us disagree on that. Yet I'm still hearing so many people say that they understand this fact in one breath, then say that dismantling their government is going to be the solution in the next breath. And this is exactly what the globalists want. Think about it. What is it that they need to ensure that they can achieve their global corporate government and to strengthen their new world order? What is the one thing right now that is standing in their way? I strongly feel that to achieve their goal, that they need to dissolve our governments, because then the technocratic corporate globalist dictators can jump in to replace them. Are we, the ones who should know better, going to be led into a trap? Not only led, but will we be fooled into becoming the leaders of this civil disobedience? As the general population starts to feel the pain of inflation, food shortages, higher interest rates, loss of income, who are they going to blame? And then will we get caught up in trying to dissolve our governments rather than trying to expose and actually remove the infiltration? If people dissolve their governments, who takes over? Think about it. I know some people would like to believe that it would be us, the people, but I think that maybe that's a little naive.
Well, it's very naive, but we're in the trap because we haven't done anything of substance for my entire life, actually, 64 years. We're in the trap. Governments will eventually be dissolved and we'll have that one world government. It's already in the works with the United Nations, the parent company of the World Health Organization, handing over our sovereignty. Oh, mainstream media is already on it. Oh, this is not a handover of sovereignty, and they claim that it's voluntary. They don't have to listen to the orders from the World Health Organization. Bullshit. And guess who's driving this? United States. U.S. Us. All right, I'll put the link down to this video if you want to watch it. Very important, though, to, I get comments from people who say, oh, you're talking to the choir. You know what? You may be the choir. The choir is supposed to circulate the information. The choir is supposed to circulate the information. Don't just sit back and... Why isn't this posting? Let's try it again. And do nothing. Circulate the information. All right. But yeah, so I hear that and then I think, look at this. So I showed the protest in France. France's Macron risks his government to raise retirement age with superpowers, a special constitutional power, to skirt Parliament to force through a highly unpopular bill raising the retirement age from 62 to 64 without a vote. Without a vote. The tyrant, the little man, the Napoleon, Macron. I'm getting my way. But it pisses people off. Right? We all know that. It sure does. And the French are fighters, though. You know what they did? Okie dokie, what did they do, Carol? They did this. Electricians and gas workers sing, Emmanuel Macron, if you continue, there will be complete darkness at your place. Moments later, Emmanuel Macron's official residence was deprived of electricity. Yeah, good job, electricians and gas workers. Good job. A whole lot of people are afraid of their leaders and they wouldn't do such a thing. Well, guess what? If you're real men, especially men, you do such a thing. You get out there and you fight like hell. If you have children, you fight like hell. Where are they here? I don't know. All right, so banks. Bank deposit flight seals deal for U.S. recession. Really? You're sealing the deal for a U.S. recession. We've been in a recession for quite a while. Those are the most irritating headlines. But, there's a new definition. What the definition of recession is, who the hell knows? It's a whole new world with new definitions. Whatever suits the agenda you go with. That's the definition. And big banks agree to historic $30 billion unsecured deposit injection in First Republic Bank. So the big banks, JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs, et al., have agreed to come up with $30 billion and inject it into First Republic Bank, which happens to be, I think, can I remember? It's the 14th largest bank. So I guess this is not a bailout. No, wait. Yes, it is a bailout. It is a bailout. And will the customers of these banks be affected by this? Of course they will. Of course. Regardless of the new language, whatever we heard from Yellen, there won't be a bailout. We're not going to do that again. They're doing that again. In fact, the Federal Reserve has decided to take $2 trillion and bail out banks. Oh, it's not a bailout. I think they call it a liquidity injection. It's a bailout. And the consumer will pay an enormous price because it's going to hurt the economy even more. But, look, this is simple. If it looks like a bailout and it walks like a bailout, it's probably a bailout. Nobody in the Biden administration or the Federal Reserve wants to call the actions they took a bailout because Americans are so easily fooled. Fool me once and whatever. Yeah, fool me. I'm easily fooled. So go ahead. Fool me once and twice and 3 times and 4 times and 5 times. Okay. It's a bailout. It's a bailout. Nobody wants to admit it's a bailout because obviously the bailouts were not popular. So we're just going to change the name of it. Oh my God. They want to distance themselves from the language. Are we really this stupid? Come on. Are we really? could we possibly be this stupid to listen to these people and think it's not a bailout? A bailout is when a business, an individual, or a government provides money and or resources, also known as a capital injection, to a failing company. These actions help to prevent the consequences of that business' potential downfall, which may include bankruptcy and default on its financial obligations. All right, I'll link below to Gregory Mannarino's video that it was his latest post. Multiple trillions of dollars to prop up and consolidate the banking system. Many have been saying, myself included, that this is a method to get rid of the smaller banks, inject all of those monies into the bigger banks, the JP Morgan Chase, the Wells Fargo, Bank of America. And that's exactly what has been taking place. And also to get rid of those crypto banks. Why? What you're watching is the dismantling of a system to bring in a new system. What's the new system? Let me hear it. Come on, you guys. Yes, I'm a native New Yorker. Born in the Bronx, raised in Queens, lived in Manhattan. Yeah. So you hear hints of that. Okay. I got distracted. Okay. Some of these smaller banks are the crypto banks. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Why? Because that CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currency, CBDC, there'll only be one. Central banks. So they got to get rid of all of the cryptos out there. The little crypto guys. Get rid of them. Enter the button. What is wrong with me? All right. Sorry. Let's try that again. Delete. Paste. Voila. Why does it only give you like a certain amount of time to place something in the chat? All right. Yeah. I mean, look, I don't care what you think about Gregory Mannarino. What he communicates is, as far as I'm concerned, right on. Right on. And while a whole lot of people were talking about collapse years ago, it's coming, it's imminent, it's this, he wasn't. He said, no, stocks are going to go higher. They're going to go higher. It's not going to... When he starts talking about, okay, get your money out of the banks, we're going down, and it's here, and it's happening, you should take him seriously. So, yes, did FDIC ask signature buyers to stop all crypto business? The FDIC spokesperson has denied a suggestion that any buyer of Signature Bank would be required to divest in crypto activities. This pisses me off because my highlighting came off. All right. Yes, it denied, but crypto-friendly Signature Bank. And people have been saying that Signature was sound. There was no reason, to take it over, but they did. Well, it gets you thinking. So, let's see. Former member of the U.S. House of Representatives, New York regulators closed Signature Bank despite no insolvency, according to Barney Frank, who's as corrupt as anybody else. Barney Frank was a representative from Massachusetts. And, that Dodd, the Frank Dodd bill, well, He got a lot of money. I posted the videos on it years and years ago during the Obama years, 2008, 2009, then 10. It was a flippin' mess. But the Dodd-Frank bill came, can I say, 2012. And yeah, Barney walked from Congress right smack into a bank. The Dodd-Frank bill did not prevent, another banking crisis. I guess not, because here we are. All right. Frank speculated that the action was to demonstrate force over the crypto industry, being a very strong anti-crypto message, which might be the case. Well, when we know that, in part, everything that we're seeing, the consolidation of the big banks, getting rid of the littler banks, because the big banks will go right along with the CBDC. And it's all to achieve the agenda. Digital currency. I never thought I would live to see this, but they're bringing it about fast. Now, I'm going to play probably all of this video, preaching to the choir. Circulate it, choir.
All around the world, central bank digital currencies are either in pilot scheme or executive order stage in the States, or they're floating under the radar.
Every person that I come in contact with in the public, I ask them, do you know what a CBDC is or a central bank digital currency? And nobody knows.
The central bank digital currency is basically what we have now, so it's fiat currency, but it's going to be entirely digital, which means absolutely in the control of the government and the central banks.
Such a system would give the state full access to the details of all transactions, as well as the ability to cut off an individual's money supply with the flick of a digital switch.
The CEO of the Bank for International Settlements recently told the world that the great thing about central bank digital currency was that they could track every transaction.
We tend to establish the equivalence with cash, and there is a huge difference there. For example, in cash, we don't know, for example, who's using a $100 bill today. We don't know who is using a 1,000 peso bill today. A key difference with the CBDC is that central bank will have absolute control on the rules and regulations that will determine the use of that expression of central bank liability. And also, we will have the technology to enforce that.
What he just told you is if you're not allowed to buy chocolate, your money won't work to buy chocolate. If you're not allowed to go more than 5 kilometers from your home, your car or your money won't work more than 5 kilometers from your home. And those rules can be dictated and controlled at a phenomenally central level.
Central bank digital currencies are programmable. So it essentially means that it's a much easier way to push agendas, political agendas. For example, the World Economic Forum is talking about implementing a carbon allowance. So every individual will be given a certain amount of carbon that they are allowed to emit into the atmosphere. With a central bank digital currency, this becomes far more efficient because with a click of a button, you literally just program the money. And so if for whatever reason you buy too many burgers, too many sausages one week, when you go to fill up your car, your money could be cancelled. It could get declined simply because you use too much of your carbon allowance, essentially. Or even if you go to buy a plane ticket, it could get cancelled. So it's much easier to push forward political agendas and political ideologies when you have money which is programmable with just a click of a button.
It actually gives government pretty much total control over our lives because they can just press a button and close our bank accounts. No, they wouldn't do that now, would they? Well, think about it. Those Canadian truckers They were legally and lawfully going about their business driving trucks, but legislation came in demanding that unless they'd been double vaxxed, they couldn't continue in their cabins doing long-distance lorry driving. And they protested, and in the end, their bank accounts were closed down by the Canadian government.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau invoking emergency powers against the truckers who are protesting vaccine mandates. Banks can now freeze their personal accounts.
If your truck is being used in these illegal blockades, your corporate accounts will be frozen.
With a central bank digital currency, if you do not hold the correct opinion, and if you're not a good citizen, then absolutely that money will be programmed to be used against you.
Our previous Chancellor, now unelected Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, is clearly a big fan.
Central bank digital currencies could be a digital version of money, a bit like a digital banknote. It's all part of the wider story of digital innovation that has delivered benefits to millions around the world and in the UK.
What would the benefits be to the general public?
Ease of use, I think, would be the only benefit.
Convenience.
Convenience, and that's how they're going to sell it.
The arguments for it are clear. It'll be quick, easy, cheap to transact. There'll be no problems at all, no loose change lying around. There'll be lots and lots of arguments for it.
But they won't tell you everything else. They won't tell you how it will be programmed. They won't tell you that it's a spy coin. They won't tell you that they're trying to phase out cash and that they want to track absolutely everything that you're doing.
The cons definitely outweigh any type of pros when it comes to, programming it for benefits and things like that. Because the money can also expire. Not enough people talk about that. During times of economic uncertainty, central banks like to print more money in order to stimulate the economy. But we could get to a point where instead of printing money, they say, well, if you don't spend 10% of your savings in the next 3 months, then this money is going to expire simply because they need that money to change hands.
If I want to double taxes and just take it out of your account, no problem.
They can take your taxes out without you having to bother to pay. They can decide what comes to them first.
This is Richard Werner, the top academic scholar in the world on central banking.
Also, they never talk about the nature of this CBDC. What is it actually going to look like? They never talk about that. Right. But I heard one European central banker tell me what it's going to look like. He saw it. He was invited to one of the old central banks in Europe that are very much promoting this. They showed him. And, he's a top, executive director of another central bank in Europe. And there's no reason to believe that he was telling me a story. And he was around this large and would be implanted under your skin. So that is the plan.
I had a friend, Nick Rockefeller, who was one of the Rockefeller family. And one of the things that we used to talk about was the ultimate plan of the banking industry, what they wanted to accomplish. The ultimate goal that these people have in mind is to create a one world government where everybody has an RFID chip implanted in them. All money is to be in those chips. There'll be no more cash. And this is getting me straight from Rockefeller himself. This is what they want to accomplish. And you become a slave. You become a serf to these people. That's their goal.
The goal of this manipulation, and has been for a very long time, is to get the world population to see as a good idea, or the only option in given circumstances that are manipulated into place, the creation of a one world government, a world central bank which would administer all financial transactions on the planet, a world currency which wouldn't be coins and notes, it would be merely electronic, cashless society for which there are fundamental implications for freedom, and a microchipped population linked to a global computer, the latter of which sounds bizarre to many people on first hearing, except that we are ridiculously close to it and the technology already exists.
Tony Danner is standing at a new frontier in technology. The chip in his hand allows him to start his car, open doors, log onto his computer, and buy snacks in the break room, all with just a swipe of his hand.
You scan it at the kiosk, it comes up on the kiosk, and then to finalize your payment, you'll put your RFID chip.
The most cutting-edge thing about Hannes Hoerblad isn't the phone in his hand. It's the microchip actually in his hand. The tiny implant is steadily becoming a part of normal life in Sweden. Thousands already have microchip implants that they use in their daily lives, waving their hand to gain entrance to the gym, confirm their ID, or make payments.
What they're trying to do is take the financial system all digital. And we're trying to prevent that from happening because, and I don't care whether it's a central bank digital currency or your Visa card, once you have 100% digital, then you can have central digital control.
Using cash is one of the things we can do to make sure the hurdle will be higher for the central planners to introduce the CBDC.
Use cash every day if you can. If you can persuade 10 members of your friends and family to do the same, and then persuade 10 members of their family or friends, and we spread this virally, there would be a revolution. We have the power individually to shift the entire state of affairs.
We have the power to stop this. We do. The only way this can succeed is if people like you and people like me sit on our ass, sit on the couch, don't get up, don't show up, and go along with it.
If you look at the global control grid, it is us, we the people, who are financing it. We are going to work and we are building it. We are spending money in it. We are supporting it. We are supporting the people who are leading it. And we have the power to stop because they are few and we are many. And if we just stop helping, they can't do it.
Everybody has power. Every single person. Because when you get a whole bunch of people, even if they have a little bit of power each, and you put it all together, now they got a lot of power. Now they can make governments do what they want.
You think a snowflake is powerless until you realize enough of them get together, they can shut down New York City. There are millions and millions of people all over the world fighting. People are pushing back all over, and it's very significant. The human race does not want to be controlled. Freedom has won every time, and every time it looked hopeless. What they're trying to do is so against the fundamental wisdom in the universe that they will fail. You have nothing to lose by fighting it all the way down to the wire every day, because the alternative is something not only do you not want to live in it, but you do not want to arrive at the pearly gates and say that your soul accepted it.
Ah, wow. What are you going to do when God says to you or asks you, what did you do to fight the evil? What did you do? And we all do have power. And sitting back and doing nothing, and go, well, protests don't accomplish anything. Calling your rep doesn't accomplish anything. Writing your rep doesn't accomplish anything. And nothing accomplishes anything. So I'm just going to smoke a joint and chill. That got us here. That got us here. And she's absolutely right about using cash. 100% right about using cash. I think that's why at that Walmart store that I went to, I don't know how many weeks ago, they only had one cashier open. Only one. Taking cash or cards. And the other one, the only other one open, was cards only. And then they had revamped their other cash register aisles to scan and go. When we accept all of this, and we can say, I don't like it, but I use it. Oh, that smartphone, I know it's a weapon, but here it is in my hand. What happens? The evil just continues. Now, whether or not it's against the wisdom of the natural world and they'll fail, when are they going to fail? 500 years from now? They're not going to fail. And you're just going to go back to living your life like, you did maybe a couple of decades ago. They're ramming all of this through. That's why the people, the individuals, have to recognize the power that they have and get together with other people. And then the power, literally, it just becomes more and more intense and becomes a beautiful power. But hey, when you're dead, you don't know you're dead. It's pain only for others. It's the same thing when you're stupid. Get it? Get it? Stupid people don't know they're stupid, but they cause an awful lot of pain for those who are not so stupid. So, this is sheer idiocy. Capital gains tax can exceed 100%. Oh, they're really going after the middle class, the small businesses, the small banks. And Americans, where are you? Why are you not rising? Why are you allowing yourself to be destroyed? Why? Why? What is that about? Yeah, capital gains. Actually, it's more than 110%. If you buy a stock for $100 a share, and then it rises to $120 per share 5 years later, but the accumulated inflation rate over that period was, say, 24%, then you lost money owning the stock. After adjusting for inflation, you would still owe Uncle Sam a 40% tax on the phantom gain that you didn't really gain it to put it in your pocket, but you gained it just, on the books. So you still owe 40% tax on the $20. Sheer idiocy? When are Americans going to finally say enough is enough? I don't want you stealing my money anymore. Man, what schmucks we've been. How do I get you out of your schmuckiness? Get angry. And of course, we've got the warmongering crazies and, China urges Russia and Ukraine to relaunch peace talks as soon as possible. It could escalate and get out of control. So China is now becoming the world's negotiator. Americans, you don't have that empire anymore. In fact, a whole lot of countries are ditching you, ditching the dollar, ditching you for good reason. But China may, however they are going to play out this scenario with this war in particular, Ukraine, Russia, and yes, it's all deliberate and it's all planned, and Putin is playing his part. Zelensky is an actor and he's just playing his part. And Z is playing his part. All right, so, and Biden is just a wind-up doll at this point, but I guess he's playing his part. Bring America down. China gets lifted up. I mean, I still am, I'm just, it's beyond comprehension that Americans could actually believe what they're hearing from their government officials and mainstream media. It is beyond comprehension to me. But hey, they do. China also said this war will end by June. Let's see. If China brings this about, and then a whole lot of the world looks to China. I'm looking at the sky, all of the black carbon dust in it. yeah, this is not ditching you fast enough. Well, there's a lot going on. The ditching is definitely taking place. So China is going to be the respected country. Senate hawks make new push to give Ukraine F-16 jets. Yay! We want war. We want killing. So Democratic Mark Kelly of Arizona, again, senator, along with Tammy Duckworth of Illinois. Oh, Tammy, you really just got in there and just became a warmongering. And I remember Tammy, who actually during war, isn't that why she's crippled today? And she talked about how, you know, she wasn't warmongering then, but now she is. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, so who else? So you got the Democrats, Tammy Duckworth of Illinois, Tim Kaine of Virginia, Martin Heinrich of New Mexico, Jackie Rosen of Nevada, and the Republicans, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, Tommy Tuberville of Alabama, Ted Budd of North Carolina, and of course Tom Cotton and Lindsey Graham. And all of these people are lowlifes. Lowlifes. Perhaps if they heard a rallying cry from their constituents, does it matter in terms of the voting? We'll vote you out in however many years, you know, their term is. No, it doesn't, because voting doesn't matter. Okay? But will, if they heard from a whole lot of constituents, they'd get a little nervous. Oh, right. If the people fear government, there's tyranny. But if government fears the people, there's freedom. We need to get our energy up and start rising. Poland to send the MiG-29 jets to Ukraine in hopes of tilting U.S. debate. Ah, Poland, man. Wow, what a disappointment. The Australian war propagandists keep saying it's a foregone conclusion that we're going to war if the People's Republic of China attacks Taiwan because of our alliances with the U.S. So let's get the fuck out of those alliances right now, Caitlin Johnstone. You know, all right. AUKUS, I think that's the acronym. Australia, UK, US, aligning to bring nuclear submarines to Australia. And today I saw a headline, the US to sell missiles or something to Australia. Oh boy, if people just rose, if they came together and just would rise up, start screaming. Forget about the result. Wouldn't it just be interesting to see what would happen? Yeah. Ditch the alliances. That seems a better decision rather than to ally with the United States. So, yeah, I come across these headlines and I'm like, Oh my God, more studies on, well, here, in this case, fluoride. U.S. government releases censored documents detailing fluoride's impact on childhood IQ. Prenatal and early life exposure to fluoride can reduce IQ. That higher fluoride exposure is consistently associated with lower IQ. How many decades? How many studies? How many uncovered documents do we need? When you have commercials or ads that you've got dentists and others saying that children need to use a lot of toothpaste filled with fluoride, you better know that something is going on there. But it doesn't matter. Yeah, you can come up with, and my God, remember all of the YouTube videos on fluoride? Wow. And people still using fluoride. Like parents squirting up the toothpaste, squirting out the toothpaste onto the toothbrushes for their children. We have known so much truth for so long. Dangerous. You know, the truth about the toxins in the air, in the water, in the food we eat, in the products we use. Big Pharma. I really, I don't. Another one. Okay. Important to post. I'm not saying don't post on any of these things, but my God, it doesn't seem to move a whole lot of Americans in a direction where they're now, just getting off the stuff, but also, talking to their dentists about why are you saying that fluoride is good? Okay. CDC bought phone data to monitor Americans' compliance with lockdowns. Purchased data from tracking companies to monitor compliance. They paid one firm nearly $500,000, another one $208,000. They wanted the location data from at least 55 million cell phone users. These data provide important insights to protect public health and have been used to understand population-level impacts of policies and can shed important light on other pressing public health problems like natural disaster response and toxic environmental exposure. CDC does not and could not use these data for monitoring compliance with their orders or individual tracking. Come on. Your cell phone is a weapon. Not only is it a weapon used against you, but used against all of the contacts you have in that cell phone. So I held out. I still got that flip top. Yeah, but they can't track me the way they track cell phone users. The smart phone, the iPhone users. But I was amazed. And I'm going to tell the story quickly one more time. So I'm in South Carolina, and a neighbor was getting rid of a recliner chair and asked me if I wanted it. So I go up to her porch. I'm looking at the recliner. We're talking about recliners. She just got a brand new recliner. I went in, I saw a brand new recliner. Oh, it's very comfortable. And no, I said, I didn't want that recliner because I had no room. My apartment was under 300 square feet. Okay, so I go back. We're not talking on the phone. I don't carry around my flip top. I didn't carry around my flip top. But she had her cell phone in her pocket. I go back, I turn on my computer, ads for recliners. On my computer. They know me through her cell phone, the IP address, it's all connected. So, it's a weapon. Gap in data See, these are, this is another headline. Okay, complicates legislation to keep China off U.S. farms. Some members of Congress say food security could be at risk. He's clearly taking this very seriously. John Tester, Democrat from Montana. Lawmakers in Congress and across the country are sounding national security alarms about foreign buyers, particularly those with links to the Chinese government, acquiring control of U.S. farmland and forest land. Members of both parties increasingly see Beijing and the Chinese Communist Party as threats to the United States. Oh my God. It's a joke. Our government is a joke. China has been buying farmland, buying up land. Hell, right next to military facilities in this country for a long time. In fact, some politicians have benefited monetarily from allowing China to buy this land. But now they're sounding the alarm. They're going to sound a whole lot of alarms about a whole lot of issues because it's too late. It's too late. There's been foreign ownership of U.S. resources for decades. It's something everybody has an eye on. Give me a flippin' break. All right, well, yeah. And here, this is so... The fate of 1,000 research monkeys is unclear after government intervention. Federal officials have contacted animal sanctuaries to ask about the cost of housing and feeding the primates for the rest of their lives. One price quote, $125 million. What we do to ourselves, hell, but what we do to other species is just so evil. Federal wildlife officials found themselves in a tricky situation after they flagged recent shipments of research monkeys as improperly imported into the U.S.
In April, workers at JFK greeted a flight in head-to-toe hazmat suits. The passengers on this plane weren't people, they were monkeys, each one worth tens of thousands of dollars, ready to be sold for medical research after a month in quarantine.
These animals are worth so much money right now.
The international monkey trade exploded because of the pandemic. Monkeys were critical in the development of the COVID-19 vaccine. Microbiologist Deborah Fuller says without them, lives would have been lost.
I would have expected it'd probably take probably another year, maybe even up to 2 years longer than what it took to develop the first COVID-19 vaccines.
Fuller works at the University of Washington, one of 7 NIH primate research centers.
I'm sorry. Look, I'll link below to this. You can watch it. I can't listen to this crap. I just feel like everything is crap. Man. What is this? Democrat senators call on payment companies to track gun sales? Oh, Senator Warren? What a surprise. All right, I'm going to link below to reclaimthenet.org. It's a good site for information. You might want to bookmark it. But I had that open up just to go through some of these headlines. Inside the legal battle, as the U.S. government prevents Twitter revealing government demands. No, more censorship, more control. Brazil outlines law to ban online fake news and hate speech. Brazil, Canada, going strong on censorship. So is the UK. Brazil had a secret program to track people's location via cell phones. Brazil, I thought you were a little bit different than America, but clearly not. This nutcase wants you to be tracked should you buy a gun. Russia passes law banning criticism of voluntary military groups. Prepare for governments to push CBDCs in the wake of Silicon Valley Bank collapse. Republicans pass bill to ban federal officials from pushing tech platforms to censor content. Republicans pass bill. So in the House, the bill was passed. It goes to the Senate. Good luck. Yeah, well, you know, sometimes you just get so worn out that the headlines are enough to just really get you very tired. So, I am. Let me play a video. This is what women in Texas on the border deal with.
Can you imagine actually being told that you have two choices? Stand your ground or go inside your home, hunker down, lock your doors and close your windows and turn off all the lights. Well, that is what these Texas ranchers are facing almost on a daily basis. Some of these ranch owners who are women are arming themselves or they're reinforcing their homes, spending thousands of dollars. But all of them are concerned that this fight has made it to their backyard. A daunting task Debbie Douglas never expected to be part of her daily life.
As you can see, it takes a while.
Rolling up steel shutters, reinforcing windows throughout her Edwards County ranch home.
This is the window that they attempted to break in. This is my granddaughter's room. She does not want these steel shutters rolled up. She wants them down. This is her sense of security now.
A child in fear after alleged undocumented individuals attempted to break into the home that sits on the hunting ranch where Debbie spends half of her time. Captured here in video first seen on News Nation.
Then we added these screens. They're steel screens. They're not your regular screens.
What was once her safe, happy place.
This whole area is their playground. They basically own it. It's sad.
Has now become a fortress of sorts.
It's sickening because we have put in so much to this place. Blood, sweat, and tears. And for it to be destroyed by some criminal organization and drug cartel is heartbreaking.
Texas is a stand your ground state, like Arizona. And Debbie says while the case of Arizona rancher George Allen Kelly makes her question what the outcome would be if she had to protect herself, she knows her rights and will do what is necessary.
I will shoot. I don't want to. I don't want to kill anybody, but if they come toward me, if it's me or them, I'm shooting.
Less than 40% of land along the southern border is privately owned, which includes the Connolly Ranch in Kinney County, just south of Debbie's ranch.
Y'all are busy, aren't you?
Lisa Connolly recently retired from teaching in Bracketville. Now she plays the organ at church and holds down the homestead on a generational cattle ranch that has been in her husband Stan's family since 1907, saying she feels she's being held captive by the cartel.
I'm an American citizen. Where are my rights to be safe in my own home?
Stan always worked the ranch, but since his cancer diagnosis, it has been all hands on deck for the family. And with the stress of safety, Lisa says she feels she's being held captive by the cartel.
I'd like for you to stay in your homes, lock your doors, and at night they say don't attract attention by turning out some of those lights. You don't want to have a large beacon up for them to locate, because all of a sudden you become a stopping point on a map.
But what can they do?
We don't have a neighborhood watch. We have ourselves. And police are not like Johnny on the spot right there. not because they don't want to be, but because of the vastness of the acreage and the miles between us.
For now, both Lisa and Debbie say their first line of defense is packing a pistol.
And why should we have to say, well, we don't deserve this. We're just like every other American citizen that deserves to be protected.
I'm not going to fear them. I'm not going to let them run me out of here.
So Lisa Connolly tells me if she absolutely had to use her weapon in self-defense, she feels supported by her sheriff here in Kinney County. Now, when it comes to Kinney County, they have actually prosecuted nearly 5,000 people for criminal trespass, and the majority of those are undocumented individuals on these ranch lands in Kinney County. Now, that is just since August 21st, 5,000 people prosecuted for criminal trespass.
$5,000. All righty. As I was watching, I was thinking about my liberal Democrat former friends. They would sell their places in a heartbeat. They would hightail it off. They would be so scared. But they're probably also the people who are not caring about what's happening with the border. And or going, yeah. Don't call them illegal. No one is illegal. Oh, man. All right, another video for you. It is Funky Prepper, and I will put, let me do that now. Let me set up Funky Prepper.
Here we have a bit of an update from our good friend is currently as...
And he shares some important information for all of us to know. It doesn't matter if it's just the UK because we're all going in the same direction.
Website and...
Okay. Just put that back a little, get his channel link. Here it is. I think this is his latest video. Am I right? No. Here's the second. It's the second video on his channel. I'm not going to play the whole thing. So if you want to see the whole video, click on the link. All right, here we go. Funky, take it away.
The government website and found that in the data sources, they suggest local councils and cities use that Strava is on the list. Strava or Strava, S-T-R-A-V-A. The government document is a document which provides guidance for local authorities on how to create a walking and cycling infrastructure plan, which is used in conjunction with the local development plan and the local transport plan also. The plan is used by the council to create cycle routes, LTNs, LTNs are all those big mobile plant holders that are blocking the roads and causing an absolute chaos all over urban environments here in the UK, an absolute nightmare, and other infrastructure to increase cycling and walking. I have attached notes from this document that I have made, which I'm going to stick below this video, okay? It's a very, very simple Word document. You can just download it and have a look. It's pretty bonkers, okay? So we're going to cut through that real quick. On page 20, in the list of suggested data sources for cycling, there is a mention of Strava, S-T-R-A-V-A, which is a cycling app which tracks your route. You see where this is all getting linked now? A lot of tracking, a lot of monitoring going on, okay? So which is a cycling app which tracks your route, as well as running routes. I double checked this on a user's app and confirmed this. Please see the screenshot attached, which I'm going to be sharing now. So yes, pretty bonkers, as we would probably guess. Strava Metro is the site which developers and local authorities use to analyze the data for free, which is aggregated, in brackets, summarized. This is accessible worldwide for all authorities and city town planners. Yes, your data is being shared by these authorities worldwide, not just here in the UK. Think of China. Exactly. If you know any users of this app, the data sharing can be turned off by going into settings, then to privacy, and then go into Metro and Heat Map. Heat Map. Crazy. It is terrifying that just one app can contribute so much to the 15-minute city and 20-minute neighborhood infrastructure. This is all indeed intrinsically linked. Okay? The link to the government guidance can be found here, and I'm going to stick that below this video. Okay? I have also provided a link to an example of walking and cycling infrastructure plan from ADUR, whatever that is, and Worthing Council. So Worthing down on the south coast. I have taken notes on this, but I haven't typed these up yet. So there's other links. I'm going to drop all of the links below this video. So feel free, if you are interested in researching into this topic. Together, the more brains and eyes we got on this, the more we can figure out how this plan is unfolding. And this is unfolding right now as we speak in all of the 321 councils all over the UK. Yes, every single council is taking part in 15-minute cities, whether you want it, whether you...
Oh, I didn't mean to click off that. I'm sorry. Because now my mouse is acting up and... All right, let me put the link into the video. To the actual video, not just his channel. Here. And you can get the link that he's talking about underneath the video. But yes, it is taking place in all of councils in the UK, and guess what? It's taking place in Australia. It's taking place in all Western countries. It's taking place in Canada. It's taking place in the United States. It's taking place. We sit back and do nothing. That allows them the easy passage of all of these agendas. But here's another video. Here's an example of a 15-minute city. And
hi everybody, it's Julie Scott.
Wrong one here. And
what is
all right, what is a 15-minute city? All right, this is Randy Hilliard, and I'm going to link to his channel. Wrong one. Here it is. He was an MEP, right? Canadian government. Is he still? I don't think so. But Canadians, let me know. 7 months ago, here he is in Parliament. I don't know if he still is. But yeah, he is someone who has been speaking out about what has been going on in Canada, so he's probably not still in Parliament, but I don't know if that's true. Yeah. They are not 15-minute cities, they are prisons.
15-minute city. I have a very special clip as we travel off-site to examine and visualize what our futures look like in a 15-minute city. If you want to see what I can't show you on YouTube, be sure to watch my weekly show, Scuttlebutt Lodge, on Odyssey, Facebook, and Instagram. Links are in the description below. Enjoy.
I've had a lot of people asking me about 15-minute cities, and I've seen all these people who extol the virtues of 15-minute cities, that they're great things, and then other people who are very worried about what a 15-minute city is. And I know we have a proclivity in our culture, in our society today, that we have to rely on expert models before we can make a decision if something's good or bad. So I decided that I would create an expert model to help visualize to people what is a 15-minute city. So come on in, let me show you what a 15-minute community looks like.
Well, I'm excited to see this, Randy, because you always break things down into nice practical ways, right?
Here we go. These residents of the 15-minute community, they're not locked in, but they just stay there. They're free to come and go, but they don't. So let's take a step inside. Everything they need in their life is right here in their 15-minute community. A water bowl, a feed tray. They own nothing, but they are exceptionally happy. And you know how happy they are is by how many eggs they produce. And it's so wonderful because I get to take everything that they produce and they just keep producing. So let me go in here. And here we go. Each of them have their own house. Now in a 15-minute community, you don't get a lot of variation in housing. They're all pretty much the same. But we can take a look and collect their production. There's a few. There's a few more. And there we go.
And they're none the wiser.
And they're happy.
Yeah.
I get to take what they produce. They're free to come and go, but the world is so scary for them out there. They will never leave. I don't have to put a fence around them. And here we are.
It's an ideal world. I don't see anything wrong with it. Everything is provided for them. They're cared for. They're happy. They're together.
Yeah.
It's all convenient.
What? So anybody who wants to understand what a 15-minute community is, here you go. And there's only one boss. And that boss provides everything for them.
Well, they're lucky to have you, Randy.
But I should give them some food. And they know when it's dinner time. This is your future in the 15-minute city.
Well, that pretty much sums it up. And it's a good analogy. Because that's what it will be like. Now, I just found out that the young people joining the army in France have to be chipped to be identified and located in case of conflict or else. Clever. Hey, Olivier. Wow. Well, I don't know if you were in the chat when I showed that Macron was using his special powers under the Constitution to ram through the increase in the retirement age from 62 to 64, despite widespread opposition. He's just going to go ahead and do it. Wow, you got a dictator there. Oh, we have dictators all over now. Yeah. Young people joining the army have to be chipped. Wow. Well, we sure do know that everything is just moving along handsomely. And when people say that these elitist, evil shitheads are going to fail, I don't see it. I feel like that's the hopium. They're not going to fail unless the huge majority in each country rise up, unite and rise up against them. Look, I'm soon going to be out of here. It's the younger generations that I'm it's not right. It is not right for the older generations to leave to the young this world that is already pretty much here and is only going to get worse and worse and worse for them. Macron used it 10 times already in 6 months. Well, we've got the executive order. Let me just sign my name. Oh, I can't sign my name. Oh, use that special stamp on the executive order. Wow. You know, I'm going to do this. I might get a strike. I don't know. Oh, I did want to say that starting tomorrow, I'm going to start posting live on Never Lose Truth 1 because I got off my community guidelines strike finally. But I'm getting emails from people who don't know about Never Lose Truth 4. So, tomorrow will be Never Lose Truth 1. If you are not subscribed to Never Lose Truth 1, I will put that channel link in the chat. So I do hope that you catch the link. If you're not subscribed, that you catch the link and subscribe. Otherwise, you might come to Never Lose Truth 4 tonight. I mean tomorrow night, and there won't be anything happening. So Never Lose Truth 1. The live starts again. But what else was I going to do? Oh, I was going to do something else and I can't remember. Did I start to say something? Well, I know that I was going to do something, but then I remembered to say I'll be posting live Never Lose Truth 1. No. I've lost it. But it was probably so important. Something everybody needed to hear. I'm sure of it. $5 million each and no taxes. San Francisco Reparations Committee goes to town. $5 million each. And it wasn't even a slave city. $5 million for each eligible black adult. And Antifa was, oh, I should have brought that up too. Antifa was, yeah, demanding, out on the street, armed Antifa. Armed Antifa. Oh, I know what I was going to do. Here. Little Man. This is my Twitter page. Little Man evokes special powers to ram through age retirement reform despite widespread opposition. The tyrant shows his true face over and over again. All right, so here. Antifa dressed in black clad, armed with semi-automatic rifles, demanding reparations in Virginia.
Thanks, everybody. 1, 2, 1, 2. Check. We see y'all up there. Black excellence is here. MLK Day. Just want to let y'all know on behalf of us and the ancestors, we out here to fight for our reparations. HR 40. We want to push that bill to the front. There's so many issues that come in and out of these state lines, and they never want to talk about reparations. And the reason they're not doing that is because it's not an issue to them. Reparations affects everybody who looks like me. Our ancestors fought and died over 400 years, and we were the only ones not to claim our reparations. Virginia is the birthplace of slavery. Virginia is the birthplace of the Confederacy. And so this is where it should have to begin. California should not be the forefront of it.
Oh my God. All right. That's not Antifa, though. I can't remember the name of this group, but it's big. That I remember. Yeah. Demanding reparations. Well, man. Swiss Bank, Credit Suisse, bailed out by Swiss Central Bank. Head of Global Markets Philip Bunce said to be delighted, also known as Pippa, trans woman, and is a key player in LGBTQ policy. Sits as a woman on the board of Credit Suisse. Okie dokie. Oh boy. Well, let me play this. This was sent to me by our very own Random Taylor News.
A group of scientists placed 5 monkeys in a cage and in the middle a ladder with bananas on top. Every time a monkey went up the ladder, the scientists soaked the rest of the monkeys with cold water. After a while, every time a monkey went up the ladder, the others beat up the one on the ladder. After some time, no monkey dared go up the ladder, regardless of the temptation. Scientists then decided to substitute one of the monkeys. first thing this new monkey did was go up the ladder. Immediately, the other monkeys beat him up. After several beatings, the new member learned not to climb the ladder, even though he never knew why. A second monkey was substituted, and the same occurred. The first monkey participated on the beating for the second monkey. The replacements repeated until what was left was a group of 5 monkeys that, even though never received a cold shower, continued to beat up any monkey who attempted to climb the ladder. If you asked the new group of monkeys why the beatings took place, the answer would probably be,
"Well, I don't know. That's just how things are done around here."
Well, I think that sums up a whole lot of behaviors of the human race, Americans. I don't know. It's just what we do around here. Think about what you do, then. Think about what you do. Okay. Here it is. Here it is. Years and years. Thank you, Step Down.
The banks, the government, the recession, America, Mrs. Rourke. Every single thing that's gone wrong, it's your fault. We can sit here all day blaming other people. We blame the economy, we blame Europe, the opposition, the weather, and then we blame these vast sweeping tides of history, like they're out of our control, like we're so helpless and little and small. But it's still our fault. You know why? Is that £1 t-shirt. A t-shirt that costs £1. We can't resist it. Every single one of us. We see a t-shirt that costs £1 and we think, oh, that's a bargain, I'll have that. And we buy it. Not for best, heaven forfend, but nice little t-shirt for the winter to go underneath, that'll do. And the shopkeeper gets 5 miserable pence for that t-shirt. And some little peasant in a field gets paid 0.01 pence. And we think that's fine, all of us. And we hand over our quid and we buy into that system for life. I saw it all going wrong when it began in the supermarkets, when they replaced all the women on the till with those automated checkouts.
No, that's not our fault. I hate those things. I always have.
Standard.
They drive me mad.
Yes, but you didn't do anything, did you? 20 years ago when they first popped up, did you walk out? Did you write letters of complaint? Did you shop elsewhere? No. You huffed and you puffed and you put up with it. And now all those women are gone. And we let it happen.
No, but we're still...
And I think we do like them, those checkouts. We want them. Because it means we can stroll through, pick up our shopping, and we don't have to look that woman in the eye. The woman who's paid less than us. She's gone. We got rid of her. Sacked. Well done. So yes, it's our fault. This is the world we built. Congratulations. Cheers, all.
Well, I am only a few years younger than that woman. But I've been saying pretty much the same thing. And for those who still can't get it, those who still resist, willfully, knowingly even, resist, that we all played a part in this nightmare we are living, you will always be a part of the problem and never be a part of the solution. Cheers. It is the world we all built. So, look in the mirror. Stop blaming all of those people in Washington, D.C., or your state government, or your local government, or the mainstream media reporters. How you respond to all of this makes the difference. It's beyond an awful world that has already manifested. But the evil, oh my God. Well, cheers. Good job. The only possibility we have for those elite evil, I hate this word, but it fits, scumbags, to fail is if everybody starts taking action. But regardless, we all have within our control to be a force of good, which means we manifest the good by our action in our communities. We help those who are in need. We extend ourselves to those in need. We don't wait for them to come and ask. We do what we can to manifest trust again, which means we live honestly, we speak honestly. If you're not doing that, don't be bitching and complaining about all of the other people lying. So, thanks for writing that, Cindy. The nice frequency tone just set off. When I was posting on the psych medications, it must have been that. So, yeah. Again, I'm going to say that reality in a society is manifested by the majority. Majority. If you have a very sick, evil society, that means the majority are sick and evil. Whether they're evil themselves because they have been practicing evil for so long, or they're engaging in evil behaviors, that's how it manifests. It doesn't manifest from a government doing it. It manifests from the people. So to manifest a healthy society means that we have to do the work on ourselves to get healthy. That's the only way. No other way. And it's work. It is work. But if we don't engage in that, then we shouldn't be here complaining that our lives have, changed and some have been destroyed. And you are the hero you've been waiting for. You are the savior you've been waiting for. And you've got to be the change you want to see. A whole lot of people obviously don't want to see a community of goodness and trust. It's up to each and every one of us. So, on that note, I hope you all stay safe. Increase that situational awareness. More importantly, increase your self-awareness, which means doing an examination on your own self. Let go of the results. Just take the actions. Cause the ripple effect. You have no idea who is going to be affected by the ripples that you cause. But if you sit back and do nothing, that gets you nothing. You make no ripple effect, and you have no influence. But a bad one, because sitting back, well, that allows the evil to spread. So, hope to see you tomorrow night on Never Lose Truth 1. Ciao, guys.